Well, I am excited to announce that I had homework, and I did it for a change. Because I don't typically do my homework. Or I do my homework, but I always do it very last second. And I actually jumped on this homework. And I am here to tell you I'm here to tell you a half-assed research version of Hanukkah and Kwanzaa. Because I said I would.
That's not what I thought you were going to say.
Oh, what did you think I was going to say?
Well, when you were talking about you did your homework and you kind of did it at the last minute, I thought you were referring to your school project where it was the push-up challenge and you did 1,400 push-ups like the night before.
No, I have. Okay, so update with the push-up challenge. I've been doing, what's today, the 7th? So for 7 days now, I have had to do 200 push-ups a day. Oh, man. The first day scared me. The second day, I didn't know if I could do it. The third day was bad. But I still completed them. I completed them at like 2:30 in the morning, technically it wasn't in the calendar day, but it was still between waking up and going to sleep. So I count it as like, I'm okay with that. Yeah. There's been 2 days. One day I did 90. Another day I did 75. I did 75. And those weren't an inability to do them. They were just not having time. Like, I was either on the road all day or, whatever. But rest assured that when only 90 push-ups took place on a day, there was also a day where 310 push-ups took place in order to make up for 90.
Dang.
I feel like I'm over the hump. It doesn't hurt near as much as it did. And so that's, my back, my arms, my chest, my stomach, like my abs. Like I'm amazed at things that hurt.
Your soul.
My soul, but not so much anymore. So listen, okay, Hanukkah and Kwanzaa, if I get any of these details wrong and you are someone who celebrates either of these holidays, I apologize profusely. This was a very quick attempt to learn about these holidays. So Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa is an African-American holiday that was introduced to the Americas in 1966. It's basically about celebrating and preserving African-American culture. There are 7 themes. So it takes place over several days, and each day has its own theme. There's seven themes, including like economic success and self-determination and all of these things. So each day you celebrate a different theme. And then each day also has a different object or a different symbol that corresponds with that theme.
Cool.
Yeah, and so that's and they exchange gifts on January 1st. So it ends on January. I think it runs from like the 23rd or 24th of December until January 1st, and on January 1st there is a gift exchange. And so yeah, Hanukkah dates back to the this is maybe the wrong way to say it, but it's the only way I know how to say it. It dates back to like biblical times. And the king of Syria, total asshat, and is enforcing his religious beliefs on everybody else, right? So any temples that are around, he's like converting those temples into temples that are in line with his beliefs and his thoughts. And yeah, so that's what he does. And there's a bunch of like basically freedom fighters. There's a guy named Judah and all of his supporters, and they're like, no, screw this guy. We're going to take back what's ours. So they all grab their swords. They go in and they take back their temple. They do so, and while they're in the temple, they're like cleaning up. They're like wiping the spray painted graffiti off the walls. They're taking down the propaganda posters, whatever. And they go to light a menorah, which is like a candelabra basically. And there's only enough oil. They're like looking at their oil supplies and they're like, oh shit, we should have stocked up. There's only enough oil to get us through tonight, and then we're boned. And then by some crazy miracle, the oil burned for 8 days and 8 nights. And they attributed that to God. It was their God showing his faithfulness to them, so on and so forth. And so that's why today Hanukkah lasts 8 days. in 8 nights, and there's a menorah that they light a different candle each night. And yeah, so that is Hanukkah.
Very cool.
Basically, the exact same God as Christianity. They just don't buy the whole baby in the manger thing, or they do buy it, but they think he's lying about who he is, or something like that. So, anyways, that is my submit my assignment, and if it gets a 60, I'm happy. Approach to Hanukkah and Kwanzaa. And now
join us next week on World Religion 101.
Yeah, that's we're shifting the podcast. I think our listening audience, I think our demographic is the same, and so movie fans, world religion, we probably won't have any drop off. It's fine.
No,
it's fine. Oh, okay. So Christmas, the other holiday, is upon us. It's approaching. In a world where. In a year where the only thing that we can really look forward to is drinking eggnog that's a little too strong and saying things inappropriate to our cousin, Christmas is coming, and so we've filled December with Christmas films and James Bond.
As one does.
Sex, espionage, and festivity is the theme of this December.
And weird hair pieces.
And so we have done 2, we're looking back on one and looking forward toward another Christmas vote. But sandwiched in between those 2 juicy episodes is an episode about a film that Pete has, I don't want to speak for you, but sort of a special place in your heart for. Is that?
Yeah. Like, I wouldn't say it's in, like, the top shelf of, like, complete sentimental, circle of trust, but it's definitely nestled its way into, if not every Christmas, every other.
Sure. Okay. That's fair. I had never seen this film. It's slipped under the radar. I think I've known the title, like for years now. If someone says the title, I'm familiar with it. I think it was only last year when you and I started talking about Love Actually that I actually knew it was a Christmas movie.
Right.
And up until like maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was entirely oblivious to the cast. So completely, I must confess to some shame about how this has slipped under my radar. Anyways, we've also been dying to do something. We've been dying to get a certain someone back on our show. Someone who this will be their 3rd time joining us, if you count our the live cast that we did back in March.
Right.
Whenever we ate a bunch of spicy hot peppers, and then he challenged us to get naked on the internet live in front of a bunch of people, and we obliged.
We did.
That happened.
It was for a good cause.
It was. Airing things out. Was that the cause?
Yeah.
That is also a good cause. You got to air things out. But yeah, so not only does he have his own podcast, but he also owns a nudist campground, which makes him a particularly interesting guest to have on our show, and just chat about life and other things. And if you could see him, if this was not just an audio only thing, you would be bewildered by his facial hair, because he has a mustache among gods. But yeah, welcome back to the show, Stéphane Deschênes.
Welcome.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be back, especially for this it's my favorite modern Christmas movie.
Okay.
Oh my.
Which is also, so yeah, we'd been dying to get you back, and then you mentioned to me at one point that you really liked Love Actually. And so then I said to Pete, I was like, here's the opportunity then. We got to,
the stars are aligning.
Little did I know at the time that this would be the first Christmas film that I'd ever seen that has its share of nude films or nude scenes in it,
and sex and everything,
and
no violence. There's no violence.
No. There's
rock and roll. There is rock and roll.
Yes.
And
drugs.
Was there? What drugs were
implied?
there?
Implied. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He talks about Bill Nighy talks about.
Well, they drink alcohol. It's a drug, you know.
Sure. Yeah.
That is a fact.
Well, and there's caffeine at some point.
Yes,
There's
that's a drug
coffee
too.
and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
And I'm sure someone smoked a cigarette.
Actually, I don't think so, because we were talking in the beginning, you know, they give you the warnings, you know, language. There's now a smoking warning, and there wasn't. So
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't actually think they smoke.
No use
Okay.
of tobacco.
Yeah.
And it's
good.
it's too far back in time for there to be any vaping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist.
No.
2003, before the iPhone.
No popcorn lung for Colin Firth.
In fact, isn't that before Facebook? When did Facebook start?
Yeah,
Yes.
Facebook's like 2000. I think Zuckerberg launched it as his face kind of hot or not thing in like 2005, but I think 2006
Yeah.
is when it became accessible by the public.
Yeah.
I've been on since April 2007. I discovered that the other day.
Oh, wow.
Which
Nice.
is crazy. Crazy if I think about that. Yeah, that 13 years of my life, I've been on Facebook. That's weird. That's weird to me, especially because 13 years of my life is almost half my life.
But you're such a social guy, you had to get on.
I had to, yeah. I'm still not on Reddit. Reddit freaks me out. I don't understand Reddit. I don't want to be on Reddit.
It's complicated.
I can't, I got on Reddit to post an episode of this podcast, and they immediately took it down, and they're like, "Oh, you haven't been on here for a week yet, so you're not allowed to post." And I'm like, "What the hell is this?"
Well, it depends which subreddit you join. I love Reddit.
Right.
Reddit is honest. Reddit is still not being like censored all over the place unless you join a group that censors you.
True.
Okay.
I like it.
Moderators. Okay.
Start your own group.
So typically we start this show with some form of trivia. And so as our guest, we have bestowed Stéphane with the honor of trying to trip us up. I have no doubt that I will not know the answer to any question he asks, because I literally just like half an hour ago finished watching this film for the very first time.
I have to say, I am personally tickled pink and excited for this holiday treat.
You should also be quivering. I'm.
Maybe I'm not as scared as I should be.
You should be scared. You should be scared. All right, hit us up.
So, was there a sequel
Oh God.
to Love Actually?
Ooh. Do you mind if I take this one, Brady?
Yeah. You answer it, and then before he confirms or denies, I just want to give my mental work through of how I would answer.
Sure. So last night I was just playing around on the old iPad, and I was looking up the filmography of one of the actors in Love Actually, and something was listed under it, or under this person's filmography, that I raised an eyebrow to. So I'm going to lean towards, I'm going to say no, there was not a sequel. But I watched a trailer that I assume was a parody for a fake sequel that was made like within the last 5 years that I watched and was funny. And I didn't have time to investigate if it was an actual film or if it was just a trailer. So I'm going to say no, there's not a sequel, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. My thought, I don't know. You've just swayed me, because I was going to say yes, because otherwise, like, it's a completely psychological approach that I'm taking to this.
Well, that's how you always answer trivia questions. You don't you don't know the answer.
know.
You just try to psych it out.
I'm thinking yes, because what a weird question. Otherwise, I mean, there's got to be, and then you're going to tell us about the sequel that's not, that is maybe just like the spiritual sequel to it. Like, it's not technically, but it is kind of, like maybe the way New Year's Eve is a sequel to Valentine's Day, which is basically just a ripoff of this film, I've now found out. But then at the same time, I believe in the darkest part of my heart, I believe that you like to mess with people a little bit. And so it wouldn't surprise me for you to give something as a trick question that seemed like, oh, well, obviously there is, because otherwise why would he be asking this? So I'm also going to go with no, just because I think you're that maniacal.
Devious, yes. That's true. That would be a good way to get you is to a really intricate question that must be true,
That must be true.
which is completely made up.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that what happened?
Well, it's yes and no.
Okay.
It's a trick question.
Oh.
So I think what you saw is what I'm referring to, Pete. And there is, I consider it to be a sequel because it's a short.
Okay.
It's the most of the actual cast
Yeah.
in the future.
Right.
And what it is, they got together for a charitable event that's called Red Nose Day in the UK. And it's become this really popular thing they do on TV, and big stars get on and do all kinds of stuff to convince people. You know, it's like the PBS money-raising thing, like telethon. They're just trying to get people to donate as much money as possible in one day towards this charity, towards ending child poverty. And it's called Red Nose Day. And they did this mini follow-up short with the original cast, who's quite a bit older, including the famous, dance in the Prime Minister's office.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You get Hugh, what's his last name?
Grant.
Hugh Grant,
Grant.
thank you. Hugh Grant doing except he's obviously a lot older and he's having a hard time doing the moves. You get the scene of, and I'm terrible with names, the young kid who's in love with the girl.
Yeah, I see. I know him from some. I'm going to look it up now because I didn't want to look it up during the movie.
He will be referred to as the boy from the Queen's Gambit, as my wife told me.
Oh, is that who it is?
Apparently.
There you go. I didn't know that. So they have a reunion by the water. You know where they sit together and he tells his dad that he's in love and he laughs at him. Well, the same spot, meets his dad again, and his girlfriend, who's the actual young woman who's the singer at the end of the movie. And they have a little chat about how they're together and that kind of thing. So there's a whole number of scenes. Keira Knightley with the sign thing is kind of a redone. So it's very cool actually.
So
Brady, you need to check it out for sure.
The actor's name is Thomas Brodie Sangster, and his character's name is Sam. In this, I know him from something. I don't know what I know him from. Apparently, he's in The Force Awakens. I don't know as who, because it does not say. But I know him from something, and I know him from something like when he's that age or close to. Nanny McPhee. He's one of the kids in Nanny McPhee. That's what I know him from.
Okay.
Which I've only seen once a while ago, but clearly it stuck with me. Okay, so let's talk about the movie about the power of Mariah Carey. Or really the movie that makes you realize that if you are, as a father, if you are shooting to be anything other than Liam Neeson's character in this film, then you need to reevaluate, because this guy is on point as a father. He is. He's not only to indulge, but to go to the ends of the earth and encourage your child in a way that he does. It's just so
his
amazing.
His stepson too, not his own child.
Right.
Yeah, not even his own child. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just it's so heartwarming, and it's so that it's. I don't know. People would argue that like the way that he swears in front of him and his appraisal of his kid's situation to him is, well, I guess you're effed then. Some people would argue that's inappropriate, but to me it was just so like, I don't know. It was treating him as a friend and not just as a subordinate. It was
as a
this,
person.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's
let's call it what it is. You're in school. This is what you talk. This is how you talk when you're in school. And so there's no point in like hiding it and not, like beating around the bush about it now. Okay, so listen, I just saw this film for the first time.
Hold on.
Okay.
I do need the floor for just a couple minutes.
Okay. You did warn me of this, and then I agreed to it and then completely ignored it.
I'm hurt.
All right.
But this holiday season does come once a year, so there is a poem that I want to share that if I don't share it now, when will I share it? So I'm going to share it. It will only be a couple minutes.
Okay.
But it's something I want to share with both of you, okay? It's called Love Actually, the Poem.
Did you write this?
Maybe.
Okay.
Okay. Love Actually, the film. In case you haven't heard, a charming story of connection and tenderness undeterred. Many characters inhabit this tale. It's quite easy to confuse. Let me walk you down this path, some information to infuse. Snape is relationally quite sinister, the brother-in-law to the Prime Minister. Married to the great Emma Thompson, their teaching days at Hogwarts are gone. Elizabeth Swann gets married to Scar, with Andrew Lincoln not too far. Third wheeling aplenty for this crew, this tangled web is much to view. All I want for Christmas is Rowan Atkinson. Mr. Bean, look what you've become. To hear your elegant voice aloud, your gift presentation makes us proud. You Grant and Colin Firth, no longer Bridget Diary mates. One is the PM of England, the other a Portuguese king's speech. A new role for Bilbo Baggins, Liam Neeson's love is taken. And Billy Bob Thornton stars as himself, if I'm not mistaken. And with that, let's get into this festive tale.
See, I thought that was you, but that's clearly Edgar Allan Poe.
That is impressive. Did
Thank
you
you.
write that? That's really good.
I wrote it yesterday morning on a napkin.
I have to send you, Stéphane, I'll have to send you, for our Harry Potter series, Pete twice now he's done this thing where he recaps the Harry Potter film at the start of the movie for anyone who hasn't seen it recently or hasn't seen it at all, but still for some godforsaken reason wants to listen to us talk about it. And twice now he has written and produced a rap to recap
Wow.
it's as white boy as it gets, but it's really phenomenal.
But still impressive.
But
Yeah.
but
Thank
super
you.
impressive. So I'm curious. I just saw this film for the first time. It's borderline, if not entirely beloved for both of you. And so I want to hear first, like before I give any of my impressions, I'm curious why this film, what about this film makes you a repeat customer? Why do you feel compelled to return to it year after year?
So who starts?
Fight for the floor. I whatever.
Stéphane, please.
Well, for me, it's just a really well put together film. Like there's two things the most important thing in my opinion in a good movie is the writing. Without good writing, I don't care how good the actor is, we've all seen the movies, it's shit. Right? You just the actors can only work with the material if it's good. And in this, I mean, there's some great actors. It's got an incredible cast, but it's really well written. And I was saying as we were watching it that I like how it tells a story. It never drags. I'm never bored because it's moving fast. It doesn't insult you as the viewer. It doesn't have to spell everything out. It lets you figure some of it out. It tells you all the things you need to know in clever ways. Like, in the beginning where the brother Jamie comes back in and meets his own brother, and we need to know it's his brother, right? And they're doing it in 30 seconds. So he's going, oh, hey, good to see you. But yeah, so it could be his friend. We don't know. And then he just kind of says, hey, I was thinking we should talk to Mom. And we're like, oh, okay, we get it. They're brothers. And then immediately his wife calls down. It doesn't matter. We're wrecking the movie for people who haven't seen it. No, I guess it doesn't.
No. Yeah. If someone's listening to this and they haven't seen the movie, that's their own damn fault.
Yeah. Stop now.
Yeah.
So, and then immediately we get, his wife calling down, come upstairs. I want to do you twice before my husband comes home kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was more than a minute. A whole story's been developed, a whole story arc. And he doesn't have to have a fight with anybody. He doesn't yell at his brother. He doesn't go upstairs and scream at his wife. They just cut out. We're done.
Yeah.
Because we needed to finish it, to put him in a position that he's vulnerable and he has to get away.
Well, something I was thinking about during the film that that I think definitely speaks to the writing is like every character in this movie you end up somewhat attached to, you care about, you want to know how this is going to unfold, you care about them. But each actor only, like on average, has like 20 minutes, if that, of screen time.
Yeah.
And so to take all of these different stories and only give them 20 minutes each, and to instill that sense of attachment to these characters in that period of time, that's no easy task.
No, exactly. And also to keep the thing moving the way they do without getting lost. There's an art. I mean, they're all overlapping, which is kind of clever. And you kind of go, hey, I see they're connected this way and they're connected that way. And you keep watching it. It just moves. It moves fast. Yet there's a lot of stories. There's a lot of things happening. And it's predictable as a rom-com is.
Sure.
But then it's not completely.
Right.
Right? Like sorry, again, I'm terrible with the characters. You know, the guy who's basically almost cheating on his wife, although we're left to not know exactly whether he cheated or not. He gave her a necklace.
Right. Alan Rickman's character.
But did he do anything more than that?
Sure.
And we're not quite clear on that.
Because she asked, like, you know, is it a necklace? Is it a necklace and sex? Is it a necklace and love?
Right.
And that's not answered.
And he doesn't answer. He says he's an idiot. And then at the end, she's okay. So it's more about their relationship and the strength of it and how they can get over it than the other one.
Yeah. And I agree that, there were predictable moments. There was a moment, we were watching it, and there was a moment when Hugh Grant, the prime minister, is going door to door on this street looking for where this girl lives. And the first house that he comes to, house number 1, which is brilliant, a brilliant film, like plot point that, you know, the first one he reaches is door number 1, house number 1. And so when the next one he reaches is 56, or that it shows you is 56, you can extrapolate, okay, he's been at this a while. This is the 56th house that he's hit. But as he's leaving house number 1, and she says, hang on a second. And seconds before he said it, word for word, I said the line, aren't you the prime minister? And I had never seen the film, but it was just so obvious that was what was going to happen. But then likewise, when the prime minister is dancing through the halls, I'm thinking to myself, okay, the girl that he's sweet for is going to be standing there. And really, no, it was just another member of his staff. Right. And so I was like, oh, that's not who I expected to catch him acting like a fool. But that was nice. It was refreshing that it wasn't like, oh, okay, of course, and she sees it and he feels embarrassed, but it's one more way in which she thinks he's endearing, and, you know, all of these things.
Yeah. And did you predict that, the Billy Mack character would end up with his manager?
No, not at all.
That's a different kind of love story, right? It's friendship. It's buds.
And that was interesting because they hug. And then
very awkwardly.
They hug very awkwardly. But when I was thinking about it, I was like, when this first started, this scene, and he's talking to his manager about how that is, you know, he is the love of his life. I thought to myself, I won't be shocked if they kiss. They might not.
Right.
But if this turns into a romantic moment, I won't be, my jaw's not going to hit the floor. I'm like, oh, okay. And honestly, I think it would have been interesting if they had. I mean, it's 2003, so, you know, what we're representing in film is maybe a little bit different at that point. But I was thinking in that moment, I thought to myself, oh yeah, that's what's missing. That's what's missing from this film is a same-sex relationship. But no, absolutely. I thought that was really interesting. Pete, what are your thoughts? Why this film?
I think we just kind of hit on it at the tail end there. I would obviously mirror everything Stéphane said. There's that saying, you insert the blanks, but it's, you know, you came for one thing but stayed for another. I remember the first time I watched this film, I was procrastinating for a university assignment. So I was like, hey, I'm going to rent it, throw it on, and it's a way to not have to write this essay. And I liked the outward things that this film had to offer, like the things that just make you laugh in your stomach, like when Hugh Grant is dancing at the Prime Minister residence or singing carols door to door, you know, like all the superficial things.
Sure.
And obviously, now that it's kind of an annual or biannual tradition in our home, obviously it's probably more a sentimental thing now. Like it might, there's a lot of not well-made movies that make it into that category. This is a well-made movie, but I think what I came for was just kind of the fun rom-com, and then what I've stayed for since then is how well this film is at character development and character relationships. So I'm just going to say it off the bat. We've kind of touched on it a bit, but my favorite storylines are the Liam Neeson and Emma Thompson storyline.
Oh, okay.
Or what you said, Liam Neeson and his stepson.
And his son. Yeah.
And I think that's what sets this rendition of throw a bunch of celebrities into a rom-com and interweave the storyline. I think that's what separates this one from some of the other renditions. That, to me, some of these relationships really transcend just simply romantic relationships, but just basic human platonic relationships. And that fact is, we're talking about different types of love. So sibling love, friendship love that we just talked about with the manager and the rock star. So I feel like that this movie just transcends maybe just the cookie cutter definition of some cookie cutter rom-com elements.
Right.
And I think that's what really kind of resonates with me.
Cool.
Yeah, and it's funny in the characters too, because they take some so far, like the Colin character, the guy who goes to Milwaukee, and the women who throw themselves at him. Like it's so funny because it's ridiculous, but they know they're being ridiculous. Like
sure.
it's almost a different style from the rest of it, where they've just gone to the sublimely ridiculous that we're all going, yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so I went into this not knowing what to expect. Hearing that I did hear that maybe it was similar to Valentine's Day in some ways, which is a film I have seen. And it definitely, this film feels like the inspiration for that movie. Knowing that this movie came out first, it definitely feels like Valentine's Day borrowed a lot of concepts, a lot of, let's take everybody and their uncle and put them into a film with a bunch of people who are seemingly unconnected, and then as the movie sort of unfolds and right towards the end, we'll put them all into one place together. We'll tell you how they're all actually, or many of them are connected to each other, whether it just be their kids go to the same school, or they're related, or they work together, or whatever it is. You know what? I like I said, I feel shame that this film has gone under my radar. After a first viewing, I adore this film. Even if it's just for its cast, every time I've been feeling this all throughout our Harry Potter series, and this has been no different. Anytime I see Alan Rickman on screen, it makes me sad.
Yes,
he's whether it be from Harry Potter or Die Hard or Robin Hood or his singing role in Sweeney Todd, Alan Rickman is just a incredible energy and is effortlessly menacing in any, obviously not so in this, but it's still there. Like, it's still just that the baritone that he is phenomenal. Liam Neeson obviously is Liam Neeson. It's refreshing to know that he's in a film where nobody has kidnapped his kid.
Yet
that he doesn't have to employ a set of skills that he's
that
acquired.
Is a sequel that's coming.
That's Sam
coming
gets,
in
Sam gets
2021.
taken. Yeah, Sam gets taken. Keira Knightley, who I disclosed to Stéphane, is totally one of my celebrity crushes. Oh my gosh.
Oh wow.
Just stunningly, she's watching the wedding video of herself and she's like, oh, I actually look quite pretty. And I'm like, no shit. Like, what as if, on your off day, you could still look at the footage and go, and Stéphane attributed, it's definitely her smile. She's just got this ridiculously white, full smile, and she's incredible, great voice. Hugh Grant's a guy that I'm less familiar. I've definitely seen fewer of his films, but he's a lot of fun in this, and I think played the role. Seeing him in this makes me curious to go watch more Hugh Grant films.
Of note, I have a friend who actually saw Hugh Grant in person in London.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna see Hugh Grant somewhere,
Apparently, he was just a lot shorter than they expected.
Really? He's a Tom Cruiser. He's just super. He's half the
Just
man. Anyways,
without the Scientology.
right. Emma Thompson. Emma Thompson is amazing. Not a comedic role for her, which is interesting because a lot of people don't know that Emma Thompson is like first and foremost a comedic actress.
Really?
That's how. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
She's got her roots planted in comedy.
No way.
Yeah, definitely look up some of her early stuff, and she's a lot of she's a hilarious actress. You know what? Honestly, Colin Firth, obviously from, I know him from Kingsman, but also I just within the last 2 years watched the Colin Firth Pride and Prejudice, and that's it's a marathon. It's a lot to get through, but it's incredible. The person who steals the show for me in this film. And you know what? It's not one of the heartfelt moments. It's not a significant plot point. I am and forever will be a diehard Rowan Atkinson fan. And
Preach.
everyone I've
Yes.
talked to up until this point, I would say is first and foremost an actor or an actress. Rowan Atkinson is first and foremost a performer. He is an actor, but he is a performer. He is the way that he is able to take a simple scene. They hand him some lines and say, "Okay, these are your lines. You got to put a bunch of shit into a bag." Rowan Atkinson it up a little bit. And he does so in a way that only Rowan Atkinson. Like I feel like that.
Sorry, it is so much more than a role.
Oh yeah, and I feel like
It's so much more.
it requires so little. I would imagine that scene required very little direction. Like they just said,
yeah.
they weren't like, "Oh, this is how we want the scene to go, so we need to tell the guy how to do it." They go, "No.
Right.
We want this scene to be done the way Rowan Atkinson would do a scene. Let's get Rowan Atkinson to do it."
Yeah.
There's a little bit of Mr. Bean in there, but I also grew up with, whether it's Blackadder or his James Bond parody series, Johnny English.
Right.
And honestly, just go on YouTube, there's some excellent, he had like a one-man comedy show where he does a bunch of skits a number of years ago. And they're all on YouTube. They're absolutely hilarious. Rowan Atkinson, I love so much because for playing one of the dumbest characters around, I think he is. It's appropriate to use the word genius when describing him. He is a very smart individual.
Sure.
He's very aware of his craft and how to perform in a very physical manner. And so Rowan Atkinson stole the show for me. That whole scene, I was in stitches. I don't even know if it was that funny, but it had me.
You know who he makes me think of?
Who?
Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Because Robin Williams is also an actor that you just give him a few lines and then
Yeah.
he would just improvise the whole thing.
Yeah.
And he would
yeah.
just had a sense that he could make something so much more out of a character than what it was in the beginning.
I was just watching an interview with him that he was doing during his press tour for Aladdin. And he said, he says, like, I came in the first day and I recorded it the way they had it on the paper. And then he said, and then on day 2, I said, "Okay, can I play a little?" And they're like, yeah, go ahead. And he said, and they ended up with 35 hours of recordings that they eventually condensed down into, right? But it's all, and famously, Aladdin is one of the few movies where they animated the scenes around what he had recorded versus here's the scene, come voice it. Right? Yeah.
Can you imagine the two of them together? Rowan Atkinson?
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Put them in a room together, maybe sprinkle some Jim Carrey at his A game and just kind of, let them go to town. Man. So where do we go from here, Pete? This is I am almost as much, if not more, a guest in this episode than Stéphane is, because I only just saw this film.
Wow. I mean, yeah. So, I mean, the first thing I just want to say, just for those who actually listen to our show, this is...
Wait, what's that mean?
No.
Those who actually listen to our show?
What I mean is those who listen week to week. because by that I mean we just previously had an episode about a British Prime Minister that was of a very different tone.
In our Black Mirror episode.
So this is a very different tone, very different premise. Yeah, I don't know where we want to take this. We want to kind of break down some of the main storylines. The soundtrack for me, like the best. I feel like this film hits a record for having the best not real song in cinematic history. And Christmas is all around us.
And Bill Nighy's song.
Yeah.
And that's such a performance too, right? Every time he gets interviewed, he's so hilarious.
Yeah. As a sellout asshole who is just so done with, you know what, probably started out as a serious performer, and probably still deep down inside does want to actually write and make good music, but he's gotten wrapped up in the corporate machine where you take a product and you slap a new package on it and you sell it for more dollars, and you just and he hates it. He hates that he's probably wishing he loves the money, but he's probably wishing he'd never signed to a big label, because what's come with it is just, press junkets and like this never ending commercialism aspect. But no, it's good. I've heard the song somewhere. So which speaks volume, I guess, to the success of the film. I'd never seen the film, but I've definitely heard that song.
I love it.
I also think I love the rendition of "All I Want for Christmas"
by the girl.
Yeah, I think in some ways I like it better than maybe because I've seen the movie so many times than the Mariah Carey one. It's a little less produced.
A little less played every 20 minutes every December.
I'm not there. I'm still drinking the Kool-Aid of the Mariah Carey version, but I hear what you're saying.
Are you okay? Whoa. So every so often we come across some questions that we probably should have sat down and hashed out before entering into a podcast together. Are you a All I Want for Christmas by Mariah Carey Kool-Aid drinker? You like the song? You look forward to it? You sing along in the car?
I think what I will say in my defense is I think I came late to the party, so I think I've not been oversaturated to it. So I think the answer is yes. Okay. Like I've sung it quite literally like twice today already. And I think it's just that I'm not a lifer, so the shine hasn't worn off yet.
I mean, I was humming along during the film, so that's 100%.
Okay.
I'm more like we talk about Christmas music. I'm a Bing Crosby, Perry Como, you know what, Alvin and the Chipmunks. Like I've got a very eclectic kind of Christmas taste.
Yeah.
And Mariah Carey just doesn't,
But there's many, many people who have done All I Want for Christmas.
Sure. But didn't she write it? Like, isn't that initially her song?
Is it?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I don't know. All I know is that every Christmas, Mariah Carey and Michael Bublé crawl out of the same cave and and remind us that they exist, and then they kind of crawl back in.
Listen, Michael Bublé gets a bad rap.
Oh, you know what? Michael Bublé is incredible. Michael Bublé is probably the only modern day representation of like a Frank Sinatra style showroom singer.
Yeah, okay.
Right? He's got that kind of like you want to hear him in New York. You want to go to Chicago and hear him. You want to be in a not a dive joint, but you want to be in like this like dinner happens, and then Michael Bublé comes out, and it's just like a night in New York type of thing, right? He's not, to me, he's not I don't want to hear Michael Bublé in a stadium. I want to hear him in a room with only 30 other people. I want to,
Right. Yeah.
So I just searched in Spotify, All I Want for Christmas Is You, and you can hear Nat King Cole singing it, Michael Bublé, Dolly Parton.
Nat King Cole?
And me, if you dig deep enough, but I wouldn't recommend it.
There are so many versions. Kelly Clarkson.
Ooh.
Michael Bublé. Patrick Droney. I don't even know who that is.
No.
Justin
Taylor
Bieber
Swift.
with Mariah Carey. I didn't know about that one.
That is a second choice alternative to the original Mariah Carey.
With Justin Bieber?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, Alvin and Chipmunks did it too.
See, there we go. All right, I'm on board.
Yeah.
Now the real kind of decider, did Boney M do a cover of it?
Oh, I haven't seen it yet.
Who's Boney?
But I am scrolling and scrolling and scrolling.
And there's a lot.
Chili Gonzalez did it. Do you know who that is? I have no idea.
No.
Not yet, I don't.
Dylan Matthew,
But look for
Edward Elgar.
But keep an eye out for my Spotify 2021 Wrapped, because Chili, whatever you just said, is going to be on there.
Actually, and Stéphane, I just looked it up here too. Metallica has a cover of it as well.
Oh, I got to go play that one.
You know what? Metallica does that though. Metallica covers a lot of like them and Marilyn Manson. Marilyn Manson picks like a lot of weird pop stuff and covers them.
All I want for Christmas is Satan.
Is Satan.
I totally just said that sarcastically, so I'm surprised there's an ounce of truth to that.
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
For
Okay, so I want to bring up a dynamic in this film and see what
Please.
this conversation turns into. So Colin Firth's character and his love interest. What an interesting. There's so many things happening in this scene or in this story. The fact that love transcends the spoken word, right?
Mm-hmm.
That they're falling in love with each other, even though they can't understand a damn thing each other is saying.
Mm-hmm.
They're synced up. They're constantly on the same brainwave.
Mm-hmm.
They're essentially having the same conversation with each other, even though they can't understand what each other's saying. And you pointed out during the film, Stéphane, that but they also can't, they just keep butting head. They can't understand what each other's saying, which means that although they're talking about the same topics, they're saying completely different things. They're coming at it from a completely different angle. He's saying, no, don't worry about these papers. They don't matter. And meanwhile, she's likely thinking, he won't shut up about, yes, I'm trying to save your papers. I'm trying to save your papers. Shut up. I hope they're worth it. And he's like, they're not worth it. Leave them alone. Stop. What are you doing? So. And
as a person who's bilingual, it's a good example of how language is not just translation.
To prove that you're bilingual, can you say that again in French for us?
Oui, si tu veux, je peux continuer en français, mais ça va pas aider les autres beaucoup.
All right.
Stéphane, when we're done, can you set up my voicemail and just have can you record my voicemail message if you've got time?
Sure, yeah.
That would actually be amazing.
Yeah, I'm not even
you should
that
totally
was
do
pretty
that.
cool.
So it's there's a lot of misunderstandings, and people who are unilingual think that translation is mathematics.
Right.
But language is as much culture as it is what you're saying, right?
Sure.
Words have meaning beyond what the actual definition is.
Right.
The example I always give is, in English, if I call you a wise man or a wise guy, it's not the same.
No.
But if you look up the definition of those words, it will seem like they're synonyms.
Guy and man, yeah. Sure.
And I love how he's proposing to her at the end, and it's all, they've done a good job of making it all stilted and weird in the subtitles, and it's just hilarious.
That's so good. And just such a great moment that, only love could get you to go take language classes. Only love could get you to at the last minute decide, I need to learn this other language and I need to learn it quick. It's just such a heartwarming thing to see. Pete, I have a question for you.
Please.
Who in this film do you, and then I'll answer this, and I want an answer from everyone. There's so many different characters, and everyone is seemingly coming from a different walk of life. They have different motivations. They have different, demons that maybe they're dealing with. Who in this film do you resonate with? Who, when you're watching this film, which character do you just go, yep, that's me, or that has been me, or I can totally sympathize with this person and what they're, where they're coming from.
Oh, That's a really tough question. I'm going to give an answer, and obviously I might change it as we go on, but I'm going to give two answers. The first is I really resonate with Keira Knightley. Specifically, I remember we had the same issue with our wedding photos. They didn't turn out, and we messaged a friend saying, "Hey, can we use your footage?" And we watched it, and it was just all of me, and I was like, "Oh, like, okay." Did you take any other pictures?
Are there any pictures of my bride? No?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was. I'm making it sound like it was weird. It wasn't. It was fine.
Wait, are you? Wait, no, whoa, hang on. I was thinking that was entirely farcical. Is it not?
No, it's a joke.
Oh, okay. I wish it wasn't. I wish that literally that happened. Like your wedding footage got all messed up, and so you went to, an artsy friend of yours who had also captured the day, and it was all he had captured was footage of you. And then he showed up on Christmas Eve with at least 15. Let's not kid ourselves. At least $15 worth of Bristol board.
But yeah, my serious answer, and this might change, but off the top of my head, I'd say you, Grant. And I think there's a few just things that as a human being, I definitely can relate with him. So definitely, like the first time I watched this, like him just kind of letting loose, being kind of a goofball, dancing when he thinks he's by himself, like that's me at times, and I'm sure all humans are like that. Like, who doesn't like singing in the shower? And if I had a nickel every time I've just thought I was kind of alone, and then I turn around and like someone can hear me singing or someone can see me dancing, and I put my arm behind my head pretending I was like scratching my head or reaching for something on a shelf. There's kind of the silly things that I really could relate to, but also just relationally, I could relate with him a little bit just because he would say some things and he'd just kind of put his foot in his mouth a little bit or say something kind of awkward around his romantic interest. And I'm like, yeah, that's me in a nutshell. Like, I am not smooth. When I was interested in my wife, I would, say things that I look back and say, wow, that was awkward to the 10th degree. I'm surprised you didn't just run away. There were different things that just little minor things, some major things with his character that I just resonated with me a little bit. So off the top of my head, that's who I'd say.
So it's not that you feel like you're looking more and more like your aunt. Because that's his complaint in the film.
That is not what came to mind.
That Billy Bob Thornton, the president of the United States, who, by the way, is only ever cast as a total asshole or sleazeball.
Basically.
And I was so uncomfortable. When I found out Billy Bob Thornton was the president, like I was thinking, what a nightmare. I can't imagine anything worse. And then... and then I took a step back, thought about some things.
What's that saying?
And he's
Truth
a solid
is stranger than fiction.
Yeah, and where I arrived is Billy Bob Thornton is a solid second for worst possible leader of a country. Yeah, no, absolutely. What about you, Stéphane? Who do you resonate with?
Well, very personally, I resonated with Liam Neeson because my first wife passed away very suddenly when I was 28 years old.
Oh, wow.
And so I know what that feels like. And so it's hard not to connect that. And then, I met, well, I didn't meet, actually. I knew Linda from before. But then I fell in love again and got married and had children, and it all worked out well. And it's romantic. I don't think there's any comedy.
No.
But it is a romantic story that I relate to.
Sure.
Very cool.
But the character that I really respect is Keira Knightley, the guy Mark. I don't know what
the guy that has the hots for Keira
Knightley. I really respect the fact that he didn't act on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. He respected, he controlled, like, this is the thing I have about people in life. Like, sure, you can find somebody interesting, but you've got a commitment. You don't have to act on every impulse you have in the world. And sometimes people piss me off. Frankly, Alan Rickman's character, it pisses me off that he is that weak.
Sure.
that you know he's got a good relationship. They show a good relationship, a good family. He doesn't hate his wife. They seem to get along well.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sure it's flattering that somebody thinks you're hot, but you don't have to act on it.
Yeah.
And that kind of, so I really appreciate the Mark character who despite being so smitten with Keira Knightley, just says, but I'm going to move on because you're with my best friend and I'm going to respect that. I'm not going to wreck their life.
Yeah.
And in other movies, somehow that would have happened because, you have a, what is it people say? You have the one person in the world you're supposed to be with, which is
the soulmate.
Soulmate thing.
Yeah. No.
Which is crap.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, there's lots of people you can fall in love with, and there's lots of people you get along with, and there's nobody who's perfect.
Like what kind of ridiculous? Like statistically, if you or like from a probability standpoint, if there is a soulmate for you, you're effed because there's your odds of actually finding that one other person in the entire world who you're supposed to be with is impossible.
What if your soulmate is in China?
Yeah, it's not going to happen. Yeah.
So,
doesn't speak your language, different culture.
Sure.
Damn.
So two things I want to say to that is same time next week, boys, we're going to watch Sleepless in Seattle and see if we change opinions on that. But more seriously, Stéphane, that's such a cool point about Mark that I've seen this movie 3,000 times, but I've never had that, I've just kind of skimmed over that. But when you actually break that part down, I think my appreciation for Mark has gone up about 3 or 4 times. That's a really good point.
Cool. So interestingly enough, yes, yeah. So before I answer, building off what you said, a couple years ago, I was having, let's call it a relationship struggle. And I sat down, I had a one-to-one with a man who had been a mentor for me for many, many years. And then, eventually as I grew up and became an adult myself, we became very good friends. And it's interesting, the people you look up to, the people you think about as the adults in your life when you're young, those role models, those mentors, you look at them and their life and you almost turn them into this fictional entity. You almost don't look at them as real people who have real thoughts and real struggles and think the same bad thoughts that you think and struggle with the same addictions that you struggle with and so on and so forth. And so I just remember sitting in this this one-to-one chat over a beer with this guy who's quite a few years. He's at least twice my age. And he said, yeah, he's been married for probably 30 years at this point. And he said, there was a time in my marriage where someone came along who everything just clicked and I really liked them and I had a choice to make, and I could have made some decisions that would have ended my marriage and things would have turned out very differently. And it was just, and it stuck with me so much that in my mind for years, I think it was, well, you fall in love, you get married, you're in love and you're married. And if you're having thoughts about other people, if you develop feelings for someone else, then you're some kind of horrible asshole. And that was a moment where, I became a little bit wiser and my eyes opened up and it's like, no. Feeling a spark, being in a relationship, being in a married relationship and feeling a spark between you and someone else doesn't make you a bad person. It's how you conduct yourself about that. It's the choices you make, the decisions you make. And Alan Rickman's character is making all the wrong decisions in this film, left, right, and center.
But you can meet people that are interesting. You can really like them. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that it's the end of your other relationship.
No.
Once you made a commitment, a relationship is work.
Sure.
It's a commitment to each other, and then you decide to build your life together.
Yeah.
You become partners in life, and unless you have a very controlling relationship, doesn't mean you can't have friends.
Right. No, absolutely. And it doesn't mean that you're not, that someone won't come along, that you think to yourself, I see the same things in this person that I see in my partner. But it's all about how you act upon that. And it's about, the commitment, whatever else.
It's basically you can have a relationship with someone and not sleep with them.
Yeah, basically that in a lot of ways, you can have a friendship with someone that is like a relationship, but just doesn't have some of the more intimate aspects that that your marriage or whatever else has.
Sex is a big part, but when you're in a relationship, that person comes first too.
Sure.
And that's the thing. Yeah. It's not just in the sex part. It's in the, okay, I have a really good friend, but if push comes to shove, my spouse is my first priority.
Yeah.
Because we've got that deal to each other, right?
Sure.
My time, my intimacy are all priority to this person.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
So for me, the person I resonate with is also the guy it's the guy who has the hots for Keira Knightley. Not only because I have the hots for Keira Knightley, but because, I don't know, like whether it's in high school or whatever, I don't know. I feel like maybe I'm generalizing and I shouldn't be, but I feel like we've all had that moment where we had a crush. We really liked someone. If we were a teenager, maybe we thought it was love. Maybe it was love. Maybe it wasn't. Who knows? But they were with someone, or you just and you did the good friend thing. You didn't say anything. You suffered silently, and literally at times suffered. Like literally, sometimes it tore you apart. But you kind of did what you had to do until it reached the point where for one reason or another it got out, and that just kind of complicates everything and makes this mess, because you can't just shrug it off and say, oh no, just kidding, I don't like you. You do have to acknowledge, like, yes, okay, I do have feelings for you, but that doesn't. But I respect your relationship. I respect the relationship you're in. I respect you, which is interesting. So, like, what are your thoughts on, Keira Knightley kisses him? Now, is that a? I did a school assignment a couple of years ago where we were talking, like, culturally. We were talking about different cultures, and the topic that I had was kissing and how is kissing different in different cultures.
Now, I want to jump in though.
Sure.
It was a short kiss.
It was a very short kiss.
Yeah.
It was not an embrace. It was not.
I don't even know if it was
tilted.
I don't even know if it was an open mouth kiss.
It was
a peck.
And like you were about to say, culturally that varies a lot.
Yeah.
European wise, kissing.
Right, they're in Europe.
There's not a big deal.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, true.
Well, as we see with Colin Firth and her entire family, it would seem.
Yeah, that's right.
No, yeah, totally. And I think that's what I'm leaning towards too. Is that, like, I'm a big proponent of like I know men. There are men in my life who have teenage daughters and sons who instead of kissing them on the cheek, they never grew out of a peck on the lips, and that's just culturally, like, within their family, that's just their family's culture, is that they,
Sure.
A peck on the lips is a way of, not in 2020 maybe, but a peck on the lips can be a way. I made a Facebook post like a couple of months ago. I was like, when this 2020 bullshit's over, I really want to embrace this. Like, when 2020's over, or not 2020, when COVID's over, any friend who wants to greet me with a peck on the lips, go for it. Like, because I think that's a fun cultural thing that I'd like to just ensue.
Everybody.
We're just gonna, we're gonna be so sick of not being able to lock lips with strangers that we're gonna grab that by the horns. But no, yeah, totally. So,
well, if I go to France and I meet people that I know there in business,
yeah,
if it's a woman and I've met her once, it'll be kissing,
but
it'll be on the cheek.
On the cheek.
But
right.
It is absolutely expected. Like, it would be rude not to. And
Sure.
I'm talking about, I've met them once. So that's the way we greet each other.
Sure. Now,
and sometimes guys, but not as much.
So I wonder, like, I mean, you've probably got more European experience than either Pete and I do. I've got zero. I think
sure.
Pete's been to Europe, but you have certainly been to Europe far more often than either of us have. Is there like, in these areas like south of France and London, what, like, culturally, what would a peck on the lips like that be? Like, obviously kissing on the cheeks is a greeting, But what, like a peck on the lips, is that just a friendly gesture?
Well, I think in this case, in the context, it's more than just a friendly gesture.
Sure.
It's a loving kiss. It's not a passionate kiss.
Right. It's not a I'm leaving my husband for you.
And they're
kiss.
British.
Right.
There's a big difference between British and French.
Yes. And the British won't let you forget it.
Yes. So, but I have a friend and he's Israeli, and we kiss on the lips because that's his culture.
Right. Okay.
Doesn't bother me.
Interesting.
Right.
And because he made a joke of it once, I said, doesn't bother me. Let's.
Yeah.
And so I started
cool.
greeting him that way, and that's what we do.
That is really cool. I like that. And that's, I don't know, I've been trying to open my mind more and really I like to analyze, okay, so we have these things in society and this is what they mean, but this is what they mean. Do they mean this because that's what they mean it from a society aspect? And if that's what they mean from a society aspect, if that's just what our culture has become and what society has told us, then can I challenge that? And do I have to concede to that? Do I have to go, oh, well, societally, this is what it is. So
well, you do have to respect what other people, there are rules.
Oh, sure.
And so, if I do this to you,
right.
Does that mean anything to you? I'm making a V with my fingers.
No, maybe it's like
this
a backwards.
Way means peace.
That's peace.
This means the same thing as the one middle finger if you're in the UK.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Crazy. Okay.
So because nobody can see it. Everybody knows the peace sign.
Yeah.
Now flip it around.
I'm seeing the back of your fingers.
You do this,
Oh.
and it is as rude as a single middle finger in the UK. Only because they've all agreed to it. They've been told that's what it means.
Right.
But you're not
Right.
offended because it doesn't mean anything to you.
Right. But I love challenging that. I'm like, okay, so this is offensive. Why? Because we've said it's offensive. Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe we should stop getting so offended so easily.
I agree. Same with currency. Currency means something because we say it means something.
So let's talk about something that's close to my heart. Speaking of being offended, the nudity in this film.
Here we go.
Here we
This is
go.
the first Christmas movie I've ever seen that has nipples in it.
Yeah. So Pete, what did you think of the nudity in the movie?
Well, obviously, Brady, you haven't seen the director's cut of How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
No, I'm not into that.
So, what did I think of the movie? So, I have to admit, the first time I watched the film, I had the jaw-dropping moment of like, well, I mean, I guess it's a porno they're on the set of, so I found that a little shocking in and of itself. And then just straight up, the woman takes her shirt off, and I was like, what is going on here? Like, this is a Christmas romantic comedy. So I do have to admit, the first time I definitely raised some eyebrows.
It's in no way non-sexual nudity. Like it's very overtly sexual content.
Well, is it sexual?
Well,
it's
not.
I mean, they're groping each other, and she's thrusting. He's thrusting into her,
but
it's not sincere. Like, it's an act.
Oh, sure, yeah, like they're acting. And for the record, like, I don't know if this is intentionally this way. This has got to be the worst unmarketable porn that, like, I can't see that they've got a career ahead of them.
No, but they're quite intentionally being very bored by the whole thing, very uninterested. So it is reminiscent of sex. They are acting sex, but clearly it's not sex.
It's clearly not. It doesn't have that any emotion.
Yeah. I like the fact. One of my pet peeves right now is everything is being toned down for Netflix.
Right.
Everybody's making international movies, and Europeans would never have people have sex with all their clothes on. And all these shows I'm watching from Denmark, I was just watching one from Norway, France, like women are making love with their bras on the whole time.
Right.
Like, that never happens. And in this movie, they take their clothes off. There's the one scene where she starts and just takes her top off.
Yeah.
And the same thing, there's no shame in the nudity. The nudity is it's not particularly sexual. It's just there.
Right.
But they're not afraid of it either. I mean, there's not a lot of nudity in it.
Not a lot, no. No, I mean, just about every scene that, like, Martin Freeman's got the weirdest role in this movie by far. Right? Like,
Yes.
was that a script that he read and was like, yeah, I'll do it? Or was it like it just, his manager said, I've got something for you?
He's fully nude in it.
He is. Yeah. And I was, you know what? I was thinking, it was interesting. I was thinking about this after, because there's a scene where you see him from behind. And I guess you see his bare butt in it.
I think so.
I think so.
You don't see his genitals.
No, you don't. But because I don't know. I don't know. Because maybe you don't see, you see him from the front, but her head is blocking his genitals because she's pretending, she's simulating oral sex.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I remember thinking about that afterwards and being like, geez, yeah, like he's fully nude as well. And I guess so is she in the ones, there's a scene where she's on top of him.
Yeah.
And she's fully nude.
And they're mostly nude. They must have something in between because that's what they typically do in those.
Typically,
scenes. Yeah.
Unless it's that Caligula or whatever that film is.
Well, that was porn.
That's a film.
That's porn.
Yeah.
It was interesting that I'd say all of the nudity in this film was not sexual. In that,
well, even when Laura Linney rips off her top because she starts having sex, but it just gets wrecked by her brother calling twice.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Like neither times was an actual full out intimate interaction.
Sure.
And neither time. Yeah. I guess I'm not really sure what my point is.
I think I concur. I don't know what your point is either.
There
is
is no sexuality. There's no sex actually happening. Really.
There's no sex that actually happens. No, it's even when it's supposed to look like sex.
In Milwaukee,
it's clearly,
there's a suggestion it's going to happen.
Sure. We see silhouettes. That guy's gonna need to carb load in the morning, but like you don't see anything. You don't actually see, it's just implied that maybe it's going to happen.
Actually, that's true. I forgot about the Milwaukee scenes. That's a bit of an outlier. But the other two, like in the one with Bilbo Baggins, like he's not actually in an act.
No,
he's merely acting.
They're simulating
in the other, the focal point is not the nudity or even their intimacy. It's that this other emotional thing is going on at the same time that kind of overrides.
And you know what? I think we're making assumptions. It's very possible that that Alicia Cuthbert and her friends, who I only know, like growing up, I knew Alicia Cuthbert from Popular Mechanics for Kids. She was a teenage host, Canadian girl, represent. Yeah. And then the very next thing I saw her in was The Girl Next Door, and that was a very confusing transition for me. But doesn't matter.
And 24? Did you not see her in 24?
And 24, right? She plays Jack Bauer's daughter. Yeah. But I think I want to rewatch 24. It's so good. Jack Bauer's got the worst life possible. He should probably just off himself because it's not getting any better.
What?
Have you not seen 24?
I'm aware of it, but I've not seen it.
So he's a quick digression. He's a He's a federal agent for an organization called CTU, the Counterterrorism Unit. And his daughter and wife end up his daughter, but then also his wife end up getting kidnapped. This is the first season. They end up getting kidnapped, and he's got to get them back. And there's a side plot with the first black presidential candidate, David Palmer. Wow, it's been a long time. Played by Dennis Haynes. Good Lord, look at me.
You're way better than me on names.
Yeah, he. There's an assassination attempt on him or a threat, and then everyone thinks it's Jack. Anyways, Kiefer Sutherland. But each season has 24 episodes in it. It takes place over the course of a 24-hour day.
Dang.
So the first episode will be Kiefer Sutherland narrating at the very beginning, and it'll say, the following takes place between 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. on the day of the presidential primaries. Events
1 hour
occur,
show is 1 hour of the show.
Events occur in real time. Yeah. And so, if Jack's got to get in a car and drive across the city, and it's a 20-minute or 30-minute drive, it will take 20 or 30 minutes of the show. Every time we check back in with him for the next 20 or 30 minutes of showtime, he's in the car getting angry, shooting people, and yelling, "Damn it, Chloe!" at this girl that works back at the... So anyways, it's an amazing show. But
Screenplay alone, that sounds fascinating.
But life just gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. He pulls a lot of all-nighters, and none of them are good.
Well, and that's the thing. I was good with the first season. I was okay with the second, but the third was like, oh, come on.
It gets weird. Yeah. And then and they start bringing back like Tony Almeida is a guy. Tony Almeida comes back and now he's the villain, and it's just this ongoing.
It's just like there's a
shit
show that I watched that's set in the is it Shetland Islands? I don't know, these little island north of Scotland, and it's the police guy, and it's got to be the highest number of murders per capita in the universe, because there's like 20 people who live there.
Sure.
But season after season, there's more and more murders, and you're going like, what the hell?
Who's left?
Cool. Second only to the town where the lady from Murder, She Wrote lives.
I don't know that one. That's a show, right?
You don't know Murder, She Wrote?
That's what I said. Yeah, I don't
Dang.
know it. Yeah. So, anyways, Alicia.
It's. I feel like it's the show that every grandma watches with their kids.
So, like I was saying, it's entirely possible that Aletha Cuthbert and her scantily clad, if not entirely nude, sweaty friends genuinely just wanted to cuddle.
Yes.
We don't know.
They just slept together.
We are
the non-biblical way.
This is presumptuous coitus, and we do not know.
They did seem sincere in everything they said, so it is a leap that we're assuming anything.
We don't have a lot of money. We can't afford quinoa. We eat rice, and it's we don't have a furnace, so we're gonna snuggle. We have one. Don't ask how
we can't afford pajamas.
Yeah, don't ask how the three of us sleep in a twin-size bed. That doesn't matter. We we make it work. It's like a sandwich situation. We just rotate each night. I don't know, but so we don't know. We don't know that he had sex. He could have just cuddled.
We don't. Yeah.
He took the would that be the high road?
Well,
that's an ethical debate.
It's possible that Alan Rickman had sex with his secretary, but we don't know that.
Entirely possible. Mm-hmm. It's entirely possible. What else? What else is it like? Okay, so honestly, it's an amazing film. I was skeptical going into it. I was like, I don't know if I have room for a new Christmas movie in my life. Like, there's so many. As it is, I can't get in the month of December. I can't get through all the Christmas films that I want to watch.
Sure.
And so I didn't know if I really wanted to add another one to it. But ultimately, I'm really glad that I did. I didn't really have a lot of say in it. It wasn't like, I'd love to watch this. It was, hey, we should watch this. It makes sense. It's a way to rope Stéphane back into the show.
Are you going to watch it with Brienne?
Yeah. So the plan is to watch it. And we were going, like, there was a thought, we toyed with the idea, should we watch it? Like, we'll watch it this past week and then I'll come here. And it was like, no. I should come out of the movie fresh for the first time, ready to talk.
Love Actually version.
Yeah.
I'm glad I got to share that with you.
Yeah, it was a shareable moment. It was good.
A romantic movies together.
Yeah.
Well,
does anyone else have anything they need to say about this film?
I feel I touched on this at the beginning, but it is interesting just how it's not there's a lot of actually kind of, the more you break down each individual relationship, like each one has a flaw and not all of them are happy endings.
No.
So it's interesting that still as a net result at the end of the film, at least and I think a lot of people do feel happy or do feel content at the end of this film, but it's not a clean slate, or it's not a happy ending on each individual micro level. And It's interesting that just the mosaic that's portrayed still just has the net result that it's still a positive human experience overall.
What was the deal with the hospital thing? That's the only relationship that, like, at the end of the film, I was like, we only saw it like twice. Like, he almost,
the hospital thing.
Yeah, he tries to, the guy in the wheelchair, and he like tries to like punch the girl, and the people restrain. It's in like a waiting room in the hospital.
I'm not.
Who's the guy? They're like, they hug. We only see them like twice in this film. I think it's like a hospital, or he's in like a psychiatric ward or something.
Oh, are you talking about the girl's brother?
Laura Linney's brother.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It's just I guess it.
That's just another relationship that's part of this web where, again, a platonic relationship that if she chooses to let that stop her from having a romantic relationship, for better or worse.
Okay.
Family is more important to her than...
So that was a setup for that. Okay.
Which I mean, I'm not going to fault any human being for doing what they think is right, but I do feel like the two don't have to be mutually exclusive. Like, I think if there's a partner who's willing to carry on this journey with her, I don't think she had to choose just one over the other.
No, but it's a, they hint at a very complicated thing. The parents are gone. They're from the U.S. They are now stuck in kind of the U.K., and she can't go anywhere because of him, because she's the last one responsible.
Sure.
Yeah. But there's caregiver fatigue as well. I mean, at some point you have to set personal limits so that you don't just burn out.
Yeah, like eventually just set them up with a Netflix account and say, hey, I'll be back in a month.
Oh.
Enjoy yourself.
I'm glad you're not my son.
Steer clear of Orange is the New Black.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Okay. Do you have anything else, Stéphane, that when you think of this movie, you're like, damn, if I were to ever record a podcast about this movie?
I mean, we could keep analyzing. It's a pretty complex movie, right?
It's a very complex movie. There's so much happening.
Like you and I were talking about during the movie, why is Rickman's secretary coming on to him?
Yeah.
Like, why would she want to? Is it power? Is it just a challenge of it all?
I thought it was maybe just like, she's young. Like she
could obviously get a date anytime.
She's clearly half the age.
Yeah.
And what was he giving any signals? Like, what was his side of the story that she felt comfortable presenting this? That the initial time she felt, was there ever openness on his end, or was it just kind of one-sided till he kind of gave in? It's
right. Like from what we saw, and I'm in no way suggesting that this excuses any of Rickman's acts, but she definitely appeared to be the one attempting to seduce him.
Yeah, it totally felt that way from the movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's possible. Like, she's definitely young, but she's also maybe old enough that if she, it's like a lot of this film is. I came out of this film feeling like Christmas has a tendency to make us want to be with someone.
Yeah.
It's Christmas, and if you can't say it at Christmas, then when can you say it? And so maybe it's part of that. Maybe it's I wonder if it's this desire, this sort of loneliness, because she's young, but she's also maybe old enough that she's, kind of wishing that a couple of years ago she had found someone and settled down and gotten married, and it still hasn't happened for her. She's always a bridesmaid. And maybe Christmas is surfacing sort of a what is otherwise a year-round struggle, and just making her to act rashly.
So her solution is to go after a married guy?
Yeah. Well,
who's like twice her age, probably?
That's Alan Rickman.
There's some red flags, but yeah.
She's seen Harry Potter. She knows what he can do with a wand.
One kind of thing that's kind of I've always briefly looked over and never paid much attention to, but there would be so many ripple effects and very tangled web of ongoing relationship dynamics where we see briefly Colin Firth, and is it Jamie or Jim, when he's coming home for Christmas to his extended family, and they're all saying Uncle Jim, Uncle Jamie, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
we
when you
hate
break
you,
that
Uncle
down,
Jamie.
Yeah. When you break that scene down, like, I'm not sure if I would have the emotional capacity that soon to return for an extended family gathering where potentially my brother or relative who had cheated on with my wife was also there. Like, I feel that is something that I've never really noticed before, but there would just be so many lingering emotional ripple effects going on in that dynamic.
Well,
he is British, right? Stiff upper lip and all.
What is the name of the girl that Hugh Grant ends up with? Or what is his love interest's name?
Natalie?
Natalie, yeah.
It could just, like, can we all agree? And this isn't even like this is the proper thing to say. You don't comment on a girl's weight. Like, let's just say the right thing. She's in no way, like, she's in no way chubby. Is in no way has big thighs or is overweight even in the slightest sense.
Right.
No.
Okay, that's just that's just
But
ironic.
no, she's not a skinny little Keira Knightley.
No.
But she's not overweight. But I think actually that's a comment on the way a lot of women feel
Sure.
and how they see themselves, and sometimes how women, if you're at all not really skinny and they sense that you're sensitive, then people will pick on that because that's a way to weaken you. So it's something that's very much out there, right?
Right. And which is made like
It's mean.
and an extension of like body dysmorphia, where like
Oh yeah.
even though
Yes,
you're in no way overweight, you think you are, and other people don't see that you're overweight, but they do see that you see, or they do see that that's what you think about yourself, and so then they kind of embrace that as well, which just leads, it's just that's a toxic cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right. Pete, scale of 0 to 10. I can't. I
Oh yeah, the rating scale.
I fail to think you give this a 0. But what do you give this film on a scale of 0 to 10?
Sure. So I gave it on my scale, I gave it an 8.3. So on my scale, it's divided into how much money or how much effort am I willing to spend to see a film. So this falls into the highest category. I would see it in theaters. I would get a babysitter. I would buy the popcorn, buy a soft drink to go out with my wife. I would watch it in theaters. And when the credits rolled, I would have no regret spending that time and effort seeing it. On Marshall's scale, it actually fared a bit higher. It got, I think, a 9 out of 10.
So Marshall being a friend of the show who has devised his own ranking scale, and we somehow feel obliged to.
It's I like using it because it's a little bit more of a concrete, like, what is it out of 10, where mine can be a little funky. I'll say, yeah, like, it's still a 8 out of 10 because I'd like to see it in theaters, but I hated the movie. You know, like, sometimes there's some flaws with my rating scale. So that's why I kind of double it up, have 2 to kind of contrast or balance or give more merit.
And I would agree that like maybe Marshall's scale could be redubbed normal human being scale. That it's that it's just like it's just like it's a 0 of 1 to 10. Like, how good is this movie? How much do I enjoy it? Because like
exactly.
I'm gonna wait till the end to tell you what I think of it. But like if it was I personally don't feel like I would, it's not a film I need to see in a theater. And so if my scale was based off of how much effort am I going to put in to see it, well, I'm not going to put the effort to go see this in the theater because I don't think the film would gain anything from me seeing it on a bigger screen or with a Dolby Atmos sound system or overpriced popcorn and a sticky floor. Like, it's just not.
But I completely.
So in that sense,
it
would score really low. But Stéphane, scale of 0 to 10, Love Actually.
I would have to give it a 10. But
wow.
Within its category.
Okay.
Like, could I imagine it? Like, is there, as a romantic comedy Christmas movie, could it do anything better? And the answer in my mind is no.
Sure.
Like, it is
neat. Yeah.
Incredibly well executed on all levels. I'm sure there could be a good one, equally as good or better one. But right now, just thinking, because as you start rating, I think I'm going to have to give it a number. So let me think about it. And not like best movies of all time. That's not right. No. And that's not fair because you can't compare some movies to each other. Right.
Yeah. Like, if you put this in the ring with a film, say like Lost in Translation, then obviously this film's not going to do as well as Lost in Translation, because Lost in Translation, according to Pete, is the greatest film ever made. Even though it's
I honestly
hot
thought
trash.
I thought you had come around when you were saying like Lost in Translation greater than Love Actually. What am I listening to?
It is like, the smell. Listen, the smell when
Oh, here, no.
it's a hot summer day. You step out of your hotel room onto the New York City street, and there's just like this like wet garbage smell that kind of hits you in the face that you quickly get over because it's New York and you're excited to be there. And the naked cowboy is like, he should be showing up in Times Square any minute now. Which I have a picture with, by the way. That's if you've gone to New York and you haven't done a selfie with a naked cowboy, what do you self-evaluate? But that hot trash smell, that is lost in translation.
Stéphane, can you weigh in? Have you seen the film?
He is not.
I don't think I have.
No. That's why. Do you know how I know that he hasn't seen it?
Do I want to know?
Because we are socially distancingly recording in person. That's you get the point. And which means I can see him right now, and he's smiling. And the fact that he's smiling, the fact that he can reach down within him and muster a smile means that he hasn't watched.
I have to go watch that movie tonight.
My soul just is mourning.
It is.
But so I want to point out, though, in terms of rating it, before you jump in, that you guys, neither of you have really criticized any aspect of this movie.
True.
Like we've talked about it, so lots of interesting. We've analyzed characters, scenes. Neither of you have said anything negative.
I kind of wish Bill Nighy had made out with his manager. That's maybe my only demerit. Is that
I do wish Rowan Atchison had more of a role, but arguably he did leave us wanting more. So maybe he had the perfect touch. It's hard to say.
I think you know what. I don't think. Would you have bought it if he had a relationship? Like he's really the only character in this movie that doesn't have a relationship that he's or like the notable actor in this film that isn't a part of a relationship.
And he even has a slightly mystical, magical role, right? Because he shows up at the gate just to let little kid, whatever his name, go.
Sam.
Sam. Yeah,
he's Santa. That's
yeah.
And
by the way, he is in Red Nose, actually.
Good.
So you got to see
now
that
I'm gonna
again.
watch it. Yeah. So I mean,
Liam Neeson ends up with Claudia Schiffer as well.
Really?
Yeah, Red Nose, actually.
Interesting.
Ooh. So yeah, with the exception of a cinnamon stick, he doesn't. He's not romantically entangled with anyone or anything.
No sex scene.
No sex scene that we saw. And although interestingly, we watched this on Prime Video. And there were two versions. There was a 16+ version and an 18+ version.
So maybe one has no nudity.
Yeah, we watched the 18+ version. I'd be very curious to see, in that one, Liam Neeson watches his mouth around his son. He doesn't swear in front of him. I was gonna give the film. I haven't had a lot of time to sit and stew on it, right? I mean, I just watched the thing. I was gonna give it an 8.5 out of 10. But then Stéphane saying, if you can't think of any actual demerits for it, then,
Oh, wow.
Okay, so in its category, because again, like if you're saying, would you rather watch Love Actually or sit up for the next 6.5 hours and watch the Back to the Future trilogy, I'm going to watch Back to the Future.
Sure.
Every time. But in its category, and even putting it up against Valentine's Day and New Year's Eve, which I feel like, this is sort of like a spiritual trilogy of interrelated, overcasted, wonderful bullshit. I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. Again, only because I think I think if it were made today, Bill Nighy would have made out with his manager. I think if it were made today, and I don't know if that's the right thing. Like, I'm a big believer in do what serves the story. Don't do something just because, if you think the right thing to do is to give us an all-female led Ghostbusters, then fantastic, let's do it. But if you're doing it because you're making a statement,
it would be nice to have a same-sex couple, but I wouldn't want to see that being the same-sex couple, because I think that's a nice story of love is also friendship.
Right.
And I think you'd lose
Yeah.
that. I don't want to lose that.
You know what would have been really interesting is a same-sex relationship where involving the prime minister, because there's an extra level of
Maybe the prime minister and the president.
oh my gosh, what would happen to the world? I don't even know. Like, would people? Is that legal? Can the prime minister of Britain marry or be in a relationship with the president of the United States? I guess that's a thing. You can do that. Although it might be written somewhere that you're not allowed to be romantically entangled with the leader of another country.
Would you have time?
No, yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, 9.5 out of 10. I feel pretty safe in that. It's definitely fantastic. I'm gonna watch it again in a couple of days with my girlfriend, and I'm not, and that's fine. I'm not like, got to rewatch this movie. I just watched it. I'm looking forward to, because I think I'll pick up on subtleties during a second viewing that I may not have picked up on the first time.
Oh, I'm sure you will. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have a tradition here, Stéphane. Aside from this, in the last 7-ish, maybe 2 weeks, if there's something notable, what have you watched?
Oh, what have I watched? We've watched a lot of foreign films. And in fact, we just watched one that was actually quite good. It's Dutch.
Okay.
So you have to watch it with subtitles, or you can
Nice.
watch it dubbed but you're wrong.
That's presumptuous. You don't know my Dutch abilities.
Oh, okay. You can listen to it in Dutch. That's
Okay,
cool.
all right.
I really hate dubbed movies, but that's just my thing.
Yeah. Don't watch Godzilla.
And it's an interesting. What's it called? The guy, I think his last name is Ripman, and it's a true story of World War II, of a guy who basically is a Dutch guy working for the Nazis, the occupiers, and his job is to find the Jews. But instead of arresting him, sending him to concentration camp, he basically he blackmails them into giving him money, and then sends him to concentration camps. And it's a true story, and he
Wow.
is so evil.
That's efficient.
And
That's awful.
yeah,
It's terrible. That's terrible.
yeah, no, it's a terrible story, but it was really well done, really well put together, and I really enjoyed it. Like, it wasn't. I was captivated the whole time.
Huh. Cool.
Wow.
All right. And do you recommend it?
I would recommend it.
All right.
I would
wow.
and it's a little dark because it's true,
Right.
and so it's not really a happy ending because
Right.
but it's reality, and in reality, it's not always a happy ending, and the good guys sometimes die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Pete, you've been bad for this. You've been a busy guy. But have you watched anything since I talked to you last?
I've got to tell you to buckle up because I have.
Oh, good Lord. Did you
forgot
finally watch my recommendation for you?
No. No.
Then I am unbuckling, but continue.
I forgot I watched something last week, so I will mention it and what I watched this week. So,
All right.
what I forgot to mention last week, I watched a 2001 film starring Nicole Kidman called The Others. It's a film that's not always up my alley. It's not quite horror, but it's more in the suspense mystery category, I guess. And I just find it interesting that I'm just going to call it a horror film, but it's not a horror film. It's very tame. Horror fans would find it tame. What I like about it is it has a bit of a different color palette than most traditional mystery horror films. And it still is very interesting the way they tell it with this color palette, even though it's not the traditional sense. And what also, they just do some narrative things, some perspective, some very story things that clash the traditions of mystery horror film. So it's an interesting view. I enjoyed watching it. I don't know if I'd watch it again. It was the second time I'd watched it.
And what's
So,
it called?
The Others.
The Others. Okay.
Yeah. I watched, I might be upstaging you here. I watched Home Alone 2 this week.
You bastard.
I obviously...
You
I was-
horse's ass.
It was on my to-do list. I would have watched it anyway, but you screenshotted it to me. And I was like, it's time. This is going on right now.
Yep.
The third and final thing I watched, it's very timely, actually. I watched a 2020 film. It's on Apple TV. It's directed, and the screenplay is also written by Sofia Coppola. It stars Bill Murray. It doesn't star Scarlett Johansson. It stars Rashida Jones. But it's a lot of the same creative team as Lost in Translation. It's called On the Rocks.
All right, count me out.
I actually have to agree. I watched it, and I wouldn't say I regret it, but it's definitely it's not a great film. I gave it kind of a 5 out of 10. I wouldn't defend it like I would Lost in Translation. I wouldn't even convince someone that it's good. It was a film,
Okay.
and that was it.
Fair.
Yeah.
Do you ever stop watching a movie if it's bad?
I did recently. The remake or the newest iteration of there's a 2020 with Maggie Smith in it of The Secret Garden, and it was just so. And I love that story. I love the book. I love the. Oh no, not Maggie Smith. Maggie Smith is in the one I do like from the 90s. The woman who played Mrs. Weasley in Harry Potter. Anyways. Yeah, I love the story of The Secret Garden. I love all of the iterations. There's a TV movie, there's a film. I love everything that's ever come out about Secret Garden except for this new one. They like omitted characters altogether. It was a mess. It was an absolute mess.
And you, Pete, you've just told me about terrible movies. Did you watch it all the way through?
I did. I wouldn't class up. It depends where it lands on the spectrum. If it's truly terrible, I would stop it. If it's so-so, but I'm still curious about some element of it, I will continue through if time permits. So, yes, case dependent.
Do you feel a responsibility to see it through to the end?
Not necessarily. I watched the most recent example I can think of is called The Devil All the Time, and I just really didn't enjoy it. It made me feel kind of depressed, and I literally stopped it about half to 3/4 of the way through.
That's fair.
So I'm not a completist if I don't feel like I need to watch the film.
I would have quit Cats if we weren't doing it for an episode. I would not have finished Cats.
Yeah.
Speaking of a film that can have great talent and still be a shit film, it's Cats.
And yet, you've still gone on record. I forget what episode, but you've said you would rewatch Cats over Lost in Translation, which I take offense to.
That's fine. I would hope that you do.
But yeah, that's what I watched this week. I hope you enjoyed, and you probably now understand the screenshots that I sent you of Titanic.
Yeah. No, I don't. What?
Well, I didn't watch Titanic this week. It was just from Love Actually.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
There you go.
See, now it makes sense. Any film that's got Titanic in it. See, that also. It's 9.6. I'm bumping it up. Fantastic film.
Yeah. What did you watch this week?
So I watched Home Alone, you thieving bastard. Or Home Alone 2, I mean. I watched Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. You know what? Not as good as the first one, but super solid. Like as far as sequels go, there's a lot of really fun parallels in it. Like there's a lot of things that they flat out pretty much just copy from the first one, but they do it very tactfully. Like they make note of the fact that, hey, there's symmetry here. We're doing this on purpose. So I watched that. I watched The Conjuring, which was the next film in the. So I recently watched all of the Conjuring films in order of release. Now I'm watching them with someone else, and I'm watching them in timeline order to see how well, if you watch the movies in the order that the story happens, how well do they connect to each other? And the answer is pretty much flawlessly. So we watched The Conjuring, which is spooky as shit because it's based on actual accounts and testimonies. And then we followed it up by watching the next one in the timeline, which is Annabelle Comes Home. We're kind of barreling through them. We have 2 left. We have The Curse of La Llorona, something Spanish. And then The Conjuring 2. And we're kind of, The Conjuring 2 takes place at Christmas. So, yeah, maybe. But we're kind of just barreling through them because I don't want to be watching these films too close to Christmas. And I also don't want to take a 3-week break and then come back to it in January. So we're just barreling through. Well, that's pretty much it.
Cool.
Yeah. I want to, I was just looking it up. The movie, just in case anybody was interested, I was talking about, it's called Rip Hagen, The Untouchable.
All right.
Rip Hagen.
And
however the Dutch people would say that.
And how and where did you watch it? What's
Netflix. It's on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
We should wrap this thing up. We should thank Stéphane for being on the show. I want to tell you about something that happened that I was going to say at the beginning of the show, and now I'm just thinking of it now. So, although I live in the city, the GTA, the Greater Toronto Area, I am fortunate enough to be able to spend a good portion of my time out in the country. There's a property that I'm able to be at, and so I get to partake in stars, which is not something you get to see really in the city. So it's I don't know, it's kind of a nice thing. I grew up in a small town out in the country and stuff like that. So that's not having stars in the city because of the light pollution is just really unfortunate. Anyways, last night I walked outside and I looked up at the stars, as I always do when it's nighttime out in the country, and I looked up and there was this weird line of stars. I was like, wow, what is that constellation? I've never seen that before. It's 10 stars that are just perfectly in a line and relatively close to each other. This is so weird. And then I realized, oh, these are moving. These stars are all moving, and they're moving in a line, and they're moving fast. From the time they were coming into sight on one horizon, and the time they were leaving sight on the other horizon was only 2 minutes. These things were friggin' trucking it across the sky. And I'm like, what is happening? The aliens have come, 2020, because I was I've never seen a satellite move that fast. And even if it is a satellite, there's 10 of them and they're in a line, and it was the weirdest thing. And I didn't know what the hell was going on. I tried to take video on my phone. My phone wouldn't, my phone just shut off and it broke and it wouldn't, my phone just couldn't pick it up. And I looked it up, and it is Elon Musk's Starlink satellites. And it was super weird to see, but it was really cool. And it was a lot of fun just because I was like, what are the odds? There's satellites that are all over the place now. So what is the probability really that at that given moment I would look up and see them?
Well, he's putting up thousands of them, so eventually it's going to be pretty high.
Pretty common.
In fact, that's a complaint that stargazers have, is that they're going to wreck the view of the stars.
It was bizarre. 10 might be conservative. There may have been 20 of them.
Well, there are already hundreds of them up there.
Yeah, and it was just this line. It was just this straight line.
I don't know why they're in a line. I've seen pictures of that before. It's weird.
It's so weird. Anyways, Stéphane, thank you so much for coming and talking Love Actually with us.
Oh, thank you.
Yes,
it was fun.
thank you.
Thank you. Anytime you want to come back, you're more than welcome to. We probably just won't talk about Love Actually. We'll, pick something else.
Why not?
Because maybe next time we'll be talking about the Les Textiles.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, there's a
Les Textiles.
Oh yeah, see, and that's we'll practice. We'll be practicing. Pete, why don't you wrap this thing up for us?
Perfect. Well, thank you all for listening. We greatly appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, please check out our social media links below: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Follow, subscribe. Please rate and review us positively wherever you're listening. And you can also check out our Patreon and merchandise pages below. If you're feeling so inclined to support the show, help pay the bills, keep the lights on, we would appreciate that. If you're not at that level of support, no worries. We always appreciate a like and a comment and hearing feedback. We love hearing the voices of those who are listening to our voices. You know what? Stay true to yourself. You do you. If you listen to the show and it was just a completely shit episode, then review us negatively. Hop in the comments and be like, no, that was crap. You guys don't deserve to be on the internet. And we'll probably agree, but it's not going to slow us down any.
So, but just, knowing that you're there and that it's not just a bunch of bots listening to us, it's fun. It's good. All right. So we got like two, maybe three episodes left. We're going to do Spectre.
Yep.
We're going to do The Grinch, it would seem.
Probably
seems that's the way the vote's going. And then if and given we got time at some point between Christmas and New Year's, we're chit-chatting about Pixar's Soul, which comes out on Disney Plus on December 25th, which Disney has not paid us to say, but if they want to pay us to say that, we'll say it again. And again and again. That doesn't seem like a move Disney would make. But that's fine. That's fine. All right. Thank you so much for listening. And until next time, bye-bye.